and sisters, what's up? Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again, and I just wanted to present this bit of history before you so that you know the turmoil and the mess that the Afro men are in, and you know that we have no friends. We have nobody that actually care about us. There is no real love in general from the female population, the melanated female population. They out for themselves. You got a lot of the simps the same way. They will turn on you in a minute because that's what they do, right? And we will present just history. This is the history of relationships right now. All right. And we're talking about another bad tent nail first, right? A Caucasian legally marries a black woman, and Loving movie hides the real truth between the Loving case, Loving versus Virginia. Okay. So basically, in the spring of 1958, Mildred discovered that she was pregnant with Richard's child, right? Richard proposed marriage and Mildred accepted. However, unbeknownst to her, Virginia had a law called the Racial Integrity Act. All right. So these are real laws, right? Which prohibited the marriage of whites to Negroes or American Indians. And why did they say whites to Negro or American Indians? Because you had both that were melanated and they looked the same. The Negroes from Africa and the American Indians, which were also, now I want y'all to pay attention to this. The American Indians, which were also black people, as they would say, or deeply melanated people, my color black, right? So you couldn't marry them. And how they beat this was she claimed to be of a particular tribe of American Indians. I want y'all to understand this, right? So before we go further, let me greet everybody. Horvorden Hardugudag, all the way to the bank. Fases los, bonjour, mes amis, ketabawani konnichiwa. Ni hao ni ama, sani bonani, jumbo baragani, assalamu alaikum, and shalom. Okay, so the Caucasian man was aware of this law, but because he's a Caucasian man, he could legally get around it. He won't be lynched, shot, or anything. He suggested a ceremony be performed in Washington, D.C., where such a union was legal. Richard did not realize that it was also a crime for an interracial couple to be married out of state and then return to Virginia. Within 2 weeks of their return, they were arrested for the crime of miscegenation. When Sheriff R. Garnett Brooks and his deputy and the county jailer entered their unlocked home in the middle of the night, shone a flashlight in Richard's face and demanded, "What are you doing in bed with this lady?" And that's the history. That's the real history. But because Caucasians could do what they want, he was able to take this to court. All right? Because this is their stolen country. And like I said, the BAW or the bad tent now likes evil. That, I mean, really, that's what you have to say. When you choose thugs, when you choose people that do the worst to other people, and that's what you like, that's what you call it. All right? So, peep this. Almost forgot before you peep is let's get those thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. To donate, my PayPal me link will be in the description box. All you got to do is click on it. It's very, very quick. All right, but remember, you still take care of yourself and family first. Okay, now, let's get back to what we're going to get back to. All right, this is going to be deep in and of itself. So pay attention. This is Machine Gun Kelly. All right, pay attention.
You recently tweeted that you like chocolate milk. You know, I'm chocolate. You know.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm gonna tell you like this. My child is black.
All right, understand this. This is a Caucasian man that just called. Now, if he's married to anybody else, if he had a baby with anybody else, the child is white. If he had the baby with an Asian, the child is white. If he had the baby with a Hispanic woman, the child is white. The only case in which he refers to the child as something other than his seed is when he does it with a so-called black woman. That should be a red flag to black women that they really don't honor you, and all they want to do is do what they do to you because you're easy access, and then pass the responsibility on to the community to raise your child as they leave. You might be able to hit them up on child support nowadays, but only in rare circumstances did they even want you in their midst. And if you look at the switch story, the barge story, oh, it could be hell. But you know the BFM don't care.
Oh, we didn't know that.
Black girls give the best.
All right, you know what he was about to say. Had to edit it out. All right, so let's move on.
Do they now?
100%. Yeah.
Really? So black.
Facts.
Okay, so that's funny because usually we're told that we don't.
And look at so understand the black female is talking about what he's talking about, and it's not the thing that she got the weave on, giving what she got the weave on. No, but she's proud to do that for a Caucasian man. But if a lot of complaints in marriages is that the BTNs won't do anything to satisfy an Afro man, but they'll go all out, anything that the Caucasian man want them to do, all the way up to severe degradation, ghetto gaggers, degradation, they will do.
Hey, no. Now this is what y'all do. Y'all either give the best.
All right, had to edit it out, so just bear with me, y'all.
It's like it's.
So the ones who say they don't usually give the best.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying with black, with what you're saying, we're told you're not give the best. It's not you don't give the.
All right, and you got to wonder what kind of a conversation is this that she saw smiles for on the dude, and one, she wanted to be with him. She wanted to sleep with him because she says, I'm chocolate milk. Think about that. All that weave on her head. All right? All that weave went to her head. I mean, inside it. All right, so pay attention.
Most of y'all say, I don't do that unless you're my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas you just need to show your skills because black girls give the best.
Okay, so he's going to keep with the thing. Y'all know what it is. Now, I want you to pay attention to what happens next. The girl, one of the black girls got offended.
It's just the motherfucking, the difference. Bitch, walk the fuck away then, you fucking dirty big bitch. Yeah. Bitch. Weak ass dress and fake ass Louis Vuitton purse. I'll go in on this bitch.
You are a wild boy.
Hair all fucked up, lipstick smeared.
All right, so let me break this down. She just watched this dude go in on a so-called sister because he was speaking about black women in a very negative manner. And this reporter just stood there with all smiles talking about, you are a wild dude. Think about this for a second. They're not even friends to their own sisters to realize that she should have said something, turned the cameras or whatever when he said, but she was all smiles and she thought it was wild and funny how he went off on another so-called sister, you know, because they are sisters, but she didn't care because she was trying to get him to get in her stuff. Understand that. Loving relationship. Okay, July 22nd, July 1939 to May, right? Now, I want y'all to pay attention. The man was 17 and Mildred was 11 when he got her pregnant. So now you understand why she was so in love with him. She was 11, and so he took that. She's no longer a virgin, right? Now, remember the law. Understand this. I want y'all to catch this. This is very important. The law stated that they could not marry, he could not marry a Negro or an American Indian. So here's the thing. Mildred, who was of African American and Cherokee descent, was educated in segregated schools in South Carolina County, but dropped out before graduating. All right. So she was called String Bean. She was 11-year-old when she met Richard Loving, a white man 6 years her senior, and who enjoyed listening to hillbilly music that her brothers played. Unusual for a white man in the South, Richard mixed easily with African Americans and was part of a successful interracial drag racing team. He dropped out of high school and was working as a bricklayer. Over the time, the friendship between the two turned into a romance. All right, now you know this is BS that they're writing here. She's 11 and he's 17, and they turned into a romance, right? And when you understand this, she had that baby kind of early. That means they was doing the nasty early. Like while he was 17, she was 11. There's no other reason for a Caucasian man that's 17 to be having anything going on with an 11-year-old so-called mixed girl, unless it's that. All right, so pay attention. All right, pay attention to what I said about she could be Cherokee, but she couldn't just be all the way black. Let me break this out down how they have this self HA. It is when the BTN would rather be a 304 and ghetto G for the ghost man than the wife of a good Afro man that could supply the needs of her, the community, and a family. That's what this is. But they're quick to throw that up in your face when you don't want to be with them anymore because all they do is destroy you. See how that works? All right. And so basically, they try to make this cute movie that was pretty much history versus Hollywood. Because Hollywood didn't want this to end, put them in a bad light, but it is what it is. So, y'all, allow me to present again. This is ultraviolet portraits, right? And by ultraviolet, what we mean is ultraviolet shows the sun's impact on the skin because ultraviolet is how the sun sees you. It's like what the sun is looking at and what the sun is looking for. Now, pay attention to this. Please be reminded that the thing that is saving white people from a lot of stuff is the freckles. The freckles are the good part of the skin. All right? So pay attention to that. If you look at the black people were taught to be ashamed of what the sun loves and is looking for. And if you look at the black people as the sun sees it, they look beautiful. You see what I'm saying? Now, this is the Nivea video, right? To show you the brainwashing tactics that white people use now that they messed up the ozone layer. And white people was like, oh, wow, our skin can't protect us anymore the way it used to in the past before we started using all those aerosols and fluorocarbons. All right. Oh, we need black skin now. And we can't get black skin naturally. So we have to make up a synthetic way to make our skin look black to the sun. Hence sunscreen. Oh, but the as me and the sister D, I'll call her, was talking, and she said, you know what? That's probably why she said that is probably why a lot of white women are cutting for black men. They understand that they must put natural melanin into their offspring. And I'm like, good insight on that one, right? Now, while all these black women were saying are mad at black men for talking to white women in the modern day, keep in mind that it's a black woman that first started interracial marriage. It's a black woman that started interracial marriage. Well, black woman, white man. But it started because of a black woman. A white man wanted to marry a black woman, and that's what started it. And the black woman, to her death, hid her identity. To her death. So she took a lie to her death. If that son did DNA, went to Ancestry.com, he'll find a lot of African heritage in him. All right? Believe that. He'll find a lot of African heritage in him. In the meantime, what was happening to black men while black women were able to produce children from white men, own slaves from white men, get land from white men? Oh, this is why a lot of black women came into land. She screwed white men, and then she got land and everything, whereas the white woman could not get land. So yes, there's a lot of reasons for the white woman to have a problem with the white man. The white women could not get land, but the white men then was able to wield the land to a lot of their concubine black women. Right? Now, the black women were able to vote in the churches and everything, because that's how black men treated the black women, when the white women were not allowed to vote in any of the white man's things, because that's how the white man treated the white woman. So what did black women do in 1970? They completely turned their backs. They were turning their backs on black men, but they completely did it and decided to follow the white women into the white women's movement. And not only did they turn their backs on us, but then they got with the FBI to try to destroy the black men. Period. That's what women did of the 70s. In the meantime, when Mrs. Loving was going through courts and everything, what was happening to Emmett Lewis Till? Right? He was an African American teenager who was lynched in Mississippi at the age of 14 after reportedly flirting with a white woman. No, this isn't the case of an older white man screwing an 11-year-old black girl or an 11-year-old Indian girl, which you had the Pocahontas rules. This is a case of somebody accusing a little 14-year-old boy with flirting with a white woman. It looks like white people was looking for somebody to kill. They found a little boy and did that to him. That's his face. He died in 1955. In the meantime, Richard Loving was screwing Mrs. Loving before they became the Lovings. But black women are applauding this movie. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, we like when the white man gets with an 11-year-old girl. All right. So he was 17. She was 11. Keep this in mind, right? Then we have Rosewood. All right. What people didn't know was the Rosewood was a well-to-do, primarily black, self-sufficient town on the Seaboard Airline Railway. They start lynching black men because an unsupported accusation that a white woman in nearby town Sumner had been beaten and possibly raped by a black drifter. Come to find out, it was a white man that got her pregnant before she was married, and she told this lie, understanding that she could shift the blame at least for 9 months. But then what happened is that baby came out white. But in the meantime, the citizens of Rosewood, they try to say it was only 8, but records show that about 187 people were killed, shot in the back and everything in Rosewood. Now, here's the thing. They were evacuated by train car to larger towns. Because of this, right? A lot of the men could not get on the train cars with the women. And this is why, in order to save the black women, the women and children got on the train cars, and the men did not. You understand? And the white people went around all the towns just looking for black men to lynch. If they caught you, they lynched you. Period. They comb the countryside. When they say black people, they see here, they always try to make it nice. No, they comb the countryside for black men to lynch. Right? This is why the oldest survivor will obviously be a black woman. So this obvious black woman is ashamed of her black skin, right? And so ashamed that she taught her, well, white son, because you are who the daddy is, right? So she, whatever melanin she had, is now further diluted from the seed of the white man, right? And so now son's going to have that son, if he don't get with a black woman and try to maintain the melanin that he has for the child, who knows, right? That child could be running into this kind of problem. All right, so pay attention to what you look like under the sun. This is what, remember, I keep telling you, it's the freckles that's keeping white people alive, right? That they have no melanin. The melanin is below the epidermis, in their dermis and subcutaneous dermis, right? And that's what's keeping them alive. But they disease easily and they age easily because they don't present them as we do to the sun as black people, right? And so basically, the Most High's people, if we were able to get this infrared camera and settle the argument on what's an Israelite and what's not, right? What we would be able to do is get this infrared camera and let a bunch of people stand in front of it and look at them under this infrared camera, and you can see the ones whose skin looks smooth under this camera would be the Israelites. The ones that have to have the freckles to keep them alive. And I won't even just say Israelites. Like, I don't want to say human, but the natural beings. I'll put it that way. The natural beings. Right? In order for the white people to get what we have, they have to do it synthetically. They have to create sunscreen. You see what I'm saying? They have to create sunscreen. And we're taught to be ashamed of our skin? Really? Who taught us that? Oh, yeah. The black mother did. She's the one that taught us that mess. At the end of the day, if you look at the last comment in red, this woman took it to her death. She says, I am not black. I have no black ancestry. I am Indian. Rapana Hook, I told the people so when they came to arrest me. So now we have a woman that is more happy about being a 304 to a Caucasian than a wife to a well off Afro man. And that is the shame of the bad tent nail. At a black man for saying, you know what, screw struggling to constantly try to get with the black woman who keep denying me because I have brains and intelligence. All right. I'm going to go on ahead and get with a white woman. So like I said, drop that Laura and get with a Lauren. How can you blame a black man after all the hell black women put him through over the years, of things he need to do to get with her? Like he needs to have a big car, this, that, and the other, and a white man could come with a sandwich and do a picnic, and she in love. All right, no, that's over, right? But at the end of the day, the black man is laughing at the white man and the black woman. Why? Because we're proud of our blackness. So much so, we can do this.
Black skin has naturally excellent protection from the sun. White skin needs the extra help of a sunscreen like UV.
Better to be said than sorry.
When we're out in the sun, we're all at the mercy of Mother Nature. But think about it. To get the protection the black man has naturally, the white man needs a sunscreen like UV. So, Mother Nature must be black.
And I'll leave you with that. It's time for us to let the bad tent nail hit that wall alone and replace it with another. Y'all know what time it is. With that said, I'm out.